book that has Mason Miller is not only not listed, he's not even priced. Like Colton Cowser is priced as if Mason Miller doesn't exist.
They don't think he's going to meet the innings required, minimum, whatever things. That there might be some stipulations. They're going, we're going to put him in there, and he's not going to be eligible to win. And we're going to have to give all the bets back.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
And now you have to qualify in these majors. You got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness. And I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. Mm-hmm. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now. And you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage late
sort
night.
Of has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency. The Pips, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. The Thursday night throwdown has begun. The Minnesota Timberwolves meltdown has begun as well. They're getting full throttled right now. The Dallas Mavericks 75, Minnesota Timberwolves 44. That's right, 75-44. Mavericks were in a bad mood this evening. We're on the Mavericks on the money line. And we're on the Mavericks plus the 5. I expected them to step up tonight, but I didn't think it was going to be an absolute blowout, full throttle rout like it is right now. Concerns about the over of this basketball game only because the Minnesota Timberwolves might just tap out at some point. They can't score. And in fact, they got outscored in the first quarter by Luka Doncic. Doncic had 20 points in the first quarter, and the T-Wolves scored 19 points. Luka outscored the entire Timberwolves team. T-Wolves were all in on not getting swept, but they forgot that, you know what, it's more about just than not getting swept. Although Dallas, this is just sort of showing their, the pedigree a bit. They let him off the hook the other night. Luka admitted, I didn't bring it, I was flat. And, they just took the pedal off the metal. And I said last night, talked about it, through the day today, that if they're a real sort of championship team, all right, forget about the other game that we blew. We should have won. We didn't. Let's go on the road and absolutely murder these dudes and just, get the week off and get ready for the NBA Finals and not let this go into the weekend. And they're handling their business right now, 77 to 45. In-game total is 213.5. And the point spread, the Dallas Mavericks are laying 21.5 points. Right now. NHL hockey, we played 2 periods of play at the world's most famous arena, or at least that's what they call it. It is a very cool arena. I don't know if it's the world's most famous arena. It's very cool. Is it? I guess it is. 1-1 in this hockey game. We played 40 minutes of play. The total is 4.5 right now. We love the under of this game, and that was 5.5, and I'm on the Rangers. In this game. This game could go either way. And, of course, it seems like every night at this time of the night we're talking about, well, will this go to overtime? Can it go to overtime? What are the odds? The odds right now are plus 145 to go to overtime. It's funny. I predicted a 3-2 final score Said Rangers win 3-2. I even played it at plus 850. But I got to tell you, as I was doing it, I was actually starting to think, man, it's going to be lower score than 3-2 even. I was like, man, should I do 2-1? Should I do 3-1? And then I thought to myself, man, playing these exact scores is like playing lottery scratch tickets. I don't really want to start getting into, over stressing about what the score is going to be and getting mad. Oh, I knew it was going to be 3-1. Oh, I knew it was going to be 4-1. Right? So I was like, no, dude, you said 3-2. Just stick with 3-2. See what happens. I even said, probably 2-2, and it goes to overtime. And then, 3-2. And it's not like a hot take or anything like that. What's the most common score in an NHL playoff game? 3-2. See, you know what I mean? Most of them are one-goal games. Once in a while, you get the empty netters and stuff. But for the most part, when you consider the odds, I like to do the math, actually, but I'm not smart enough to do it. And I don't have time. But I'd like to see, like, the exact scores. So, like, if you bet on, and generally the 3-2 is always the same. I know all these numbers because I bet them. A 3-2 final score generally in a hockey game, in like a pick'em game or somebody's not a big favorite, it's like plus 750. So, like, the Rangers were plus 110 tonight. It was plus 850 instead of plus 750. You know what I mean? Like, the Panthers were plus 750 to win 3-2. That's sort of the common number. So I'm just thinking out loud here that if you just kept on playing 3-2s all the time and you kept on hitting them at plus 750s, I'd like to see what the math added up to. Maybe when I have a couple of minutes, I'll just sort of take a look and see how many 3-2 hockey games there actually been. T-Wolves can't buy a bucket, man. They're stuck at 46 right now. It's one thing to allow Dallas to get to 82, but they're at 46. Luka's trolling people in Minnesota right now in the stands, which he really enjoys to do. But don't worry, Luka. They'll talk back in Boston. Trust me. This series is going to be off the hook. The Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics, there's Snoop Dogg in the house. The Celtics and the Mavericks, good basketball series. It'll be a fun matchup. You've got Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic and company taking on Brown and Tatum and White and everybody. But the other storylines get a little bit deeper and interesting. We all remember Kyrie Irving's time in Boston was not a positive experience for anybody involved. It wasn't positive for the Celtics. It wasn't good for him. Although one of the funniest things ever happened when he was on the Celtics, local Boston radio were ripping him once, and Kyrie Irving called into a talk show under a fake name, like a caller, to defend Kyrie Irving. And they were like, this is Kyrie Irving, isn't it? It really was, too. Which is pretty good. It was actually one of those moments. I was like, yeah, that's pretty good, right there. But they despise Kyrie Irving in Boston. I don't think he likes them very much. And then you got Kristaps Porzingis, of course, played with the Dallas Mavericks, and he played with Luka Doncic, and he didn't like playing with Luka Doncic, so he's not there anymore. So a lot of interesting storylines going into this. And I would say, well, the game isn't over yet, but it's a 30-point game right now, 82-52. I got my concerns about the total. It's starting to upset me, to be honest, but it is what it is. And we can't control it. Like, if Minnesota's going to, really, you got 46 points. Like, now you're up to, 52. But you're getting stuck here in the first half. You scored 40 points. It's an elimination game for you guys. Like, no sense of urgency whatsoever. And I knew, man, like I said, we jumped on the Mavericks. I was talking about, it'll be close. I was like, listen, let's just take the damn money line. But it's one of those things throughout the day. Twitter can be a cesspool of contamination, but it can also be a wealth of information if you know how to read between the lines. And when I saw the T-Wolves tweeting out about their stupid jerseys they were wearing tonight and stuff, I was like, yeah, whatever. You got bigger, you know what I mean? Oh, we're lit. We're rolling this out straight fire. Okay, that's all cool. You got cool jerseys tonight. I'd be more worried about stopping Luka Doncic than what jersey we're wearing tonight. So when I saw just sort of the attitude of the T-Wolf organization and players, I was like, yeah, they're done. And I had a feeling Dallas would be in a bad mood. They are. Although I really want to see Minnesota. I'm almost pulling for Minnesota now because I need points. So I just don't want them to completely tap out. But this is pretty pathetic. They're at 57 now. The in-game total is actually climbing. So this is what you call the bitch and moan a win home. There's different ways of doing it. You can give up on it. You can say, oh, the teams suck. There's the angry, there's the reverse psychology. There's all different ways to approach something when you're trying to get a bet home to win, even though you don't really have any control over it. And for mine, it'll be to overly worry about every shot. Every shot, I'm like, oh, God, no, come on. Hit it. See, there's a 3. Good. I like that. There's Edwards hitting a 3. They're down by 27. Don't quit. Never give up. Let's roll. Joe Madden's going to step up and in. Cam Stewart on the radar. We'll see if we can make connections with Cam. We've had some issues this week. He had technical difficulties the other night. And tonight it sounds like he's got some other difficulties. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. But Joe Madden is ready to go. We'll get into the third period of the Panthers and the Rangers. 1-1 as we're getting ready for the third period. The never-ending, endless NHL playoff intermission continues. Total is 4.5 in this game, plus 110. Like I said, I predicted a 2-2 game, probably goes to overtime. I said Rangers win this game 3-2. It wouldn't shock me, actually, if we still get there. So, like, that 4.5 is still there. Like, it would have shocked anybody if both teams scored in this period. It ended up being 2-2 when it was all said and done after 3 periods of play. The Thursday Night Throwdown. This is Sports Rage.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage late
sort
night.
of has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
That was Aaron Rodgers' thing. Took a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
It's a luxury pick. We don't have the luxury. We're trying to win right now. I'm in a window right now, and you're going to say, no, we're going to plan this for the future. With a guy who had 4 years, 4 seasons ended by injury. 4. Like, Michael Penix is a walking injury. Like, what are you doing taking him in the top 10?
The Bostonian versus the Book.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships.
Mm-hmm.
So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency. The pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people to bust them, and everybody else in between. The third period set to begin here in a very, 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 very close hockey game in which goalies are getting run. Shesterkin has gotten lit up. The goalies have been taking a run out a couple of times tonight. We got a tie hockey game. Let's bring in Joe Madden right now to get her thoughts on this third period as we're ready to drop the puck. Joe, I said before the game started that I thought the Rangers were going to win 3-2. I don't often give correct scores. Once in a while, if I have a feeling, I will. And I kind of did. I don't know. Maybe it's going to end 2-1 or 3-1 or something like that. Maybe a team scores late. I did love the under of this game, the 5.5. But, it wouldn't shock me if it was 2-2 still. I still might get there, 2-2 after this period. What do you think happens in this third period of play?
I love where you went pregame with this because I was on the exact same page. I was looking at the Rangers. I couldn't believe the line, Gabe. I know the Florida Panthers are such a solid team, but going back to New York, I expected the Rangers to at least be a -110 favorite. At +100, I had to jump on them. I also expected that lower scoring game. I took the under 5.5, and I was with you. I didn't think 3-2, but I thought this game would be one that could go to overtime, either 1-1 or we got that 2-2 style game and the empty netter or something happened there, but still keeping us under that total. I also took Igor Shesterkin over 28.5 save shots on goal. So I'm happy to see the Florida Panthers have picked up those shots here in that second period, late in the second period, because it was looking dead in the water in that first.
These early minutes in periods are always interesting, because it's the one time the ice is pretty fast and slick, although the ice isn't great at MSG, as we all know. But you see here, they are flying around here. Florida had a scoring opportunity. One thing about this game, guys, the Rangers play with fire a lot. Like in the first period of play, they turned the puck over a lot in their own zone. They didn't get the puck out of their own zone. They got really lucky once. Shesterkin saved them once. There was another time they missed the net, Florida, after. But the Rangers, like you said, Joe, they tightened things up in the second period about not turning the puck over on their own end. But now as this third period starts, you see the Panthers are all over them once again. The Panthers, if this was a football game, the Panthers have more yards. You know what I'm saying? Like the Panthers, like you can't say, well, they're better than the Rangers because we're tied here still. But the Rangers are playing with fire. Here is another fast break here. Shesterkin, big save. Rangers are playing with fire, but they're pretty good, Joe. They're like a boxer, the Rangers. Like they get beat up like for 2 minutes of the round, and then boom, they knee you in the face at the end of the round, and somehow you're bleeding. It's like, man, we just dominated them for a couple of minutes. So anything can happen here, but it is an entertaining hockey game.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And for the New York Rangers to get another shorthanded goal, 6 now in the playoffs so far this season, it's absolutely incredible. But I hear you, the Florida Panthers are firing, and they're firing everything at net. At the moment, they've got 24 shots on goal right now in this third period for the total. So they're playing a phenomenal game, but the New York Rangers capitalize on any mistake. They've had a couple of mistakes giving the puck away at the blue line as well. So Bobrovsky's had a solid game. Igor's had a solid game. It'll be interesting to see if the Rangers can get the win here in Madison Square Garden. I'm really hoping so, Gabe.
Right now, the Panthers are showing a little bit of desperation to start this third period. They're the ones taking it to the Rangers here, understanding, we don't want this game to go into overtime. This is a pivotal game here, obviously tied at 2. And I also wonder, too, Joe, I said this about the Edmonton Oilers, and I think that, you can argue the Dallas Stars are better. I don't really know who's better than anyone right now. We'll find out. But if you're like the Edmonton Oilers, I think you're in a better spot that the 2 of the potential 3 games are actually on the road. We've talked about it all week on the show this week, Joe. It's like 56, 55% now. Road teams are winning. Home teams are only winning like 44% of the time in the playoffs. And there's more pressure on you at home. There's more negativity. There's more media, right? Not all the media travel. It turns into a big drama when you play at home all the time, especially for like the Edmonton Oilers. The best thing they can be is away from that whole nut job, insane asylum, that's arena and that media room and stuff like that, and be on the road. So, I think the Panthers understand this too. This is just a massive game. You could argue the series on the line right now. Like the winner of this period could win the series.
Oh, absolutely. Because you look at this game 5 here, whoever loses this one has their backs up against the wall going into game 6. They're automatically in an elimination situation.
It's
where
like 75% of the time, Joe. Actually, that's the number. It's like 74% of the time the team that wins the game 5 in a 2-2 series goes on and wins the series.
Right? So, yeah, whoever comes out of this is not going to be good. And then looking at that Edmonton, you called it. Edmonton is a terrible place for the Oilers to play, and I really do think their best chance of winning the next game is because they're in Dallas, because the fan base, when the other team goes up, the air goes out of that building, and I can imagine being one of their players. They don't get the support constantly from their fans.
Yeah, and the fans, too, in the building, they want to cheer, but let's be real. It was such a disastrous start for the Oilers last night that, hell, I wasn't there, and even I was beaten down. I was like, wow, these guys are in a lot of trouble. Like this is the wheels are falling off fast for this hockey team, but things can change in a hurry in a hockey game. So 1-1 in the hockey game, and as far as the basketball game is concerned, the rout continues. It's 95-69, although at least the Minnesota Timberwolves haven't tapped out. They've outscored the Dallas Mavericks in the third quarter, albeit not by much, 29-26, and we are getting some points. The in-game total's up to 224.5 right now, 95-69, but that's kind of deceptive, guys. There will not be like a last 4 or 5 minutes of this basketball game. Like, we're not really playing with another full quarter here, guys. Like, at what point did the Dallas Mavericks just say, all right, we're done. We're up by 40, and we're going to the NBA Finals. And at some point, there's going to be a curtain call for the T-Wolves starters. That's going to be 5 minutes of garbage time.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage late
sort
night.
of has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
That was Aaron Rodgers' thing. To your quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
It's a luxury pick. We don't have the luxury. We're trying to win right now. I'm in a window right now, and you're going to say, no, we're going to plan this for the future. With a guy who had 4 seasons ended by injury. 4. Like, Michael Penix is a walking injury. Like, what are you doing taking him in the top 10?
The Bostonian versus the Book.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll this here, SportsRage. I'm kicking it. Joe Madden in the house with us right now. Basketball game's a blowout, 95-71. In-game totals, 221.5. Point spread is 18.5 right now. The Mavs are rolling. And an incredible feat, Luka Doncic outscored the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first quarter. He had 20 points in the first quarter. The T-Wolves scored 19 points. Unbelievable. They were losing 35-19 after one. Then they got outscored 34-21 in the second. They were down 69-40 at the half. They got booed off the floor. They have showed a little life here, and now they've outscored them by 7. Are they going to come back? No, but it is 95-73 right now. And it's funny, Joe, when it was at the half, when it was 29, I actually thought, I was like, all right, like if you're the T-Wolves, what do you say when you get into the room? Besides, like, what the F and a couple of F-bombs and a couple of people are going to be kicking chairs over and stuff like that. But you get to the room and you're down by 29. I thought, all right, guys, we got to cut the lead to 15, all right, and go into the fourth quarter down 15. And it's kind of like, yeah, that's what you got to do, like, realistically, right? Like, whenever, like, in basketball, it's like, all right, we're down 20. We got to cut this lead down to 10 with, like, 7-8 minutes left. So that would be the deal. We're down 29. We got to get this down to like 14, 15 going into the fourth, and then cut it down to like 7-8 with 6-7 minutes left, and then just hope for the best at the end. And they're trying, Joe. It's 33-28 here, right? 97-73. They're not tapping out. And I got the over of this game, Joe, and I went pretty big on it. So I'm I don't want anyone quitting here. So I'm pulling for the T-Wolves to score some points. But I'm on the Mavericks on the money line, plus 170. I got the Mavericks plus 5. What do you think of the basketball game?
I love that you took the Mavericks and the Timberwolves here. You're right. They have to add these points. I took the over 209.5. I believe it was earlier today. So I jumped on that. But I don't understand the Timberwolves in that first quarter, how they came out so bad. If Luka can get more points on you than the rest of your team combined in that first quarter, they should have been booed off the court right there and then. I just don't understand how this team came out so lackadaisical at home in this game, elimination game of all things. So right now, plus 18.5 on the Timberwolves. I still don't even want to jump on it, Gabe, because I was thinking maybe they'd make a bit of a push, and they're trying to make a bit of a push. But at what point does this team just give up? I'm with you, though, on that over. What number did you get on the over?
209.
Yeah,
so, yeah, I got 209. But I also have I've got a bunch of them now. Let me see. I think I've got let's see, I got an over 212.5. I've got a 209, and I have a 207.5. So I've got 3 of them. So that's my concern here. But the plus 170, it's that old adage, guys, and I know it sounds cliche and stuff, but it really is true that we like the Mavericks plus 5 today, then you have to like them on the money line at plus 170. Right? You can't, anytime you're taking it, if you're taking an underdog and you don't think they can win the game, then it's not a great bet. Right? You're just sort of hoping, well, maybe they can hang around. I don't think they can win, but maybe they can hang around. You got to believe, no, they can win. And plus 170, Joe, is a pretty nice number, actually, when you're only getting 5 points. Like if it was, I'll be honest with you, if it was like plus 130 today, if the Mavericks were like plus 125 or 130, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. I'll just take them plus the points. It's not enough for me just to buy in. But I did start to buy in that they were going to not murder them, but they were going to show up angry and get it done. NBA Finals guys start 1 week from tonight. So it's a massive difference if you're the Mavericks guys. You win this game, you party it up tonight, you get the day off tomorrow, and then Saturday you get to work for the finals. As opposed to, imagine, Joe, you have to go back to Dallas again, play another game against the T-Wolves on Saturday. Maybe somebody else gets hurt and stuff. It was big-time stuff for the Mavericks to end this damn series tonight.
Oh, they absolutely have to, because you look at the rest advantage of the Boston Celtics as well and how little games they've played in their series. And this is a must-win for the Dallas Mavericks, I really do feel as well, because they can't keep adding these games. The Boston Celtics will have so much rest on top of them, especially with you look at the series over the whole with all those different games, Gabe.
And Derek Lively, of course, got kneed in the back of the head last week and a neck, and he was injured. Then he got smoked again in the head tonight. And a lot of times NBA players will embellish stuff, and it's not as bad as it was. And I was thinking, because this kid goes down hard. He's, you think he's dead, man. Like he stayed down like this for like 20 minutes last time. He got hit, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to get elbowed in the head by Naz Reid, so I believe him.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
That was Aaron Rodgers' thing. Took a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
It's a luxury pick. We don't have the luxury. We're trying to win right now. I'm in a window right now, and you're going to say, no, we're going to plan this for the future. With a guy who had 4 years, 4 seasons ended by injury. 4. Like, Michael Penix is a walking injury. Like, what are you doing taking him in the top 10?
The Bostonian versus the Book.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Well, we've got a goal in this hockey game because, of course, we do. Every time we go to a commercial break, something happens. So something happened. The Florida Panthers happened. The Florida Panthers have taken a 2-1 lead. There's a little under 10 minutes remaining in this hockey game. Right now, the in-game total is 4.5. Panthers are 10-1 on the money line right now, which is absolute insanity. We talk about this on a nightly basis on this show, Joe. And teams are down by 1 goal. And they're getting like plus 300 or something, plus 350. And we're not talking about the Arizona Coyotes now. This isn't like a midseason game with some crap-ass team that, we're getting, they're plus 500. They're only down by a goal, but it's the San Jose Sharks or something against a good team. They're all good teams, right? It's a 1-goal game. This is a massive overreaction here. Like the New York Rangers right now, guys, are plus 600 on the money line. And that includes overtime. So that's a big payday for a team that's now 1 goal.
It's absolutely insane, especially with their ability to push this game to overtime. We've seen it in this series. These are normally 1-goal games pushing into overtime. And I do think grab the Rangers right now with that plus money. They have every opportunity of tying it up, Gabe. I just can't believe the overreaction of the books. That total 4.5, though, man, you got to take it to the over if it goes to overtime. I really do think it does. Yeah.
It dipped to 3.5. I agree with you as far as the 4.5. I'm comfortable with my under 5.5, but you're right, Joe. There's 8:58 left now, and 1 goal by the Rangers. Boom, there's the over. Or there could be empty net goals. Sometimes there's more than one. More stuff could happen here. The Rangers are pressing a little bit. They're going to have to start to press, although they really haven't done very much in this third period of play. And we talked about it, Joe. When the third period started, I brought it up. Said that the Rangers are playing with fire right now. Like once again, like the Panthers were the more coming out of the room saying, we're going to score the next goal, right? Like the Rangers look like they're playing for overtime, and you play like that, you're going to lose. And I want to say, too, we're during the break, Shesterkin, that was not a goal that Shesterkin will normally allow, that shot, right? But you can't blame him. The dude's like under fire all the time. So like when your goalie, you talked about it, Joe, 31 shots on goal now. When your goalie's under constant duress, eventually he's going to not be Superman. He's going to give up a goal that he normally stops. That's what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at that second and third period, and the Rangers really stopped playing defensively as tight as they were playing in that first period, and they need to come out and they need to give Igor Shesterkin the support out there. So he has allowed 2 goals in. He's faced 31, so he's already got 29 save shots on goal. That number going into this game was 28.5, and he's already got like over 7 minutes left in this game. So I feel for Igor out here because you're right. That wasn't a normal goal he would have allowed in, but he can't just keep stopping every single shot. It's a law of averages, right? After so many that's fired on him, someone's going to have some pot luck out there and hit him hard.
I do believe, though, I haven't given up on the Rangers here. I think they could score. We've seen a lot of craziness. We've seen a lot of late goals in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I don't think the Rangers are panicking yet, but a big problem for them here in the third period of play, quite simply, has been puck possession. Like Florida, it's sort of like the basketball game earlier in the game for people who are watching both. If you'll notice in the first quarter and in the second quarter, and Van Gundy brought it up, every loose ball, man, every rebound. There was one rebound, and it was only like 15 or 16 at the time, the lead. There was a rebound. Towns was there, and I don't know, that might have been Anderson. Like, there was 2 T-Wolves there. They both sort of reached for the ball, and Buddy on the Mavericks, like, flew in and said, no, give me the ball. Like, this is the playoffs. When you get a trip to the championship, you've got to take it. You can't just let the ball bounce to you. You've got to say, no, I better go get that, and you go get it. And that's what happened here with the Panthers and the Rangers, guys. The Panthers were the ones that were like, go get it. Like, don't wait for it to happen. Make it happen. And they did. The Rangers just had a nice little scoring opportunity. But I tell you, Joe, the clock is ticking fast suddenly in this game. Like, there's only 6 minutes left suddenly. It's a bit of fast 3 minutes. I got to tell you. There's no whistles.
Right? There's been no whistles. It's been the fastest moving game out there. And the Rangers just aren't getting those shots on net. We saw them coming into this third period pretty tight with the Florida Panthers for the amount of shots both of these teams had.
Oh, my God. Sorry, Joe. Oh, my God. Shesterkin with the save of the century. Right? And, I just, if people see my face just a second ago before that, I went, oh. Like, Shesterkin made a great pad save here. On the play before the glove save here, but he made a great pad save, and it's like, oh boy, the Panthers are about to bury this. And then they nearly scored again, and then he just stole one here. So he makes up for that last goal he gave up because no one, that was an incredible save that he just came up with. But the Rangers are running out of racetrack now, Joe. About 5.5 minutes left, and they, like I said, they can't even get the damn puck. The Panthers are just dominating this period right now.
Yeah, you look at Sam Reinhart was the one who almost got that goal with the assist from Verhaeghe. And yeah, they're lucky Igor Shesterkin was able to save that because I tell you, this Panthers team is pushing and they're pushing so hard to pick up this win. But Gabe, you said it, it's a Florida Panthers win. This is a trend that we're seeing. These road teams have been so phenomenally strong on their opponent's ice. It's really interesting. If the Florida Panthers win this tonight, do you think the Rangers can win back in Florida? I think they could. I think we go to game 7.
Yes, I do. And in fact, I almost expect them to. And then probably lose at MSG in game 7.
I could see that.
Like, honestly, that's what I was talking about. Like, I'd almost rather not play at home. And I sort of get the same feeling like tomorrow with the Edmonton Oilers. We'll get to this game in a couple minutes, but I think the Oilers can win tomorrow. Dallas are the same thing. Dallas are victims like everyone else are. As good as they are, they're not great at home. Right? Like, Dallas have won the majority of their games in the playoffs. They've been road warriors, this team. That's their big thing. You get them at home, and we talked about it with Edmonton. The city of Edmonton, the media, everything is so negative around them. There's so much pressure on them. It's a smaller city. It's better for them to be in Dallas, where nobody knows who the hell they are. Connor McDavid can go for a walk around the hotel. No one knows who he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can just sort of breathe a little bit and come together as a team, knowing, all right, now we'll go back home. But this should be a fun final 5 minutes of this game. The Rangers are now plus 850. The Panthers are minus 1,600. Joe, the total is 4.5, plus 160 to the over right now.
I like it. I really do think we can see we're going to get at least 2 empty netters. What's going to happen if the Rangers pull Igor? The Florida Panthers are going to get another one. It's not like the Rangers aren't going to pull him again, right? Like we could get 2. I've got
no, you're right.
3.5
They do pull goalies with 2.
Yeah.
No, your 3.5 is good. That was a better play. I wouldn't push the 4.5 right now. I agree with your 3.5. Hey, listen, I'm on the Rangers plus 850 in overtime, so I like nothing better than to see them tie this game right now. 5:41 left in this hockey game. The puck is in the in Florida zone. Big face-off coming up here. Bobrovsky's allowed 2 or fewer goals in 8 of his last 9 starts. Panthers to the under has been a good play. But let's see what the Rangers can do here. They got to crash, bang, fight, flick the puck at the net. I think they've had like 2 shots on goal in this period, Joe, though. Like I said, they've been very inefficient in this third period, the Rangers. They're really getting outplayed.
Oh, they absolutely are. And they're not taking the puck away from the Florida Panthers either. So they're giving them all the opportunities. But we're seeing them make a push right now, and they weren't able to. It got turned over again in the neutral zone. Gabe, they can't make those mistakes out there. This is going to cost them the game tonight for sure. Those turnovers in the neutral zone and at the blue line, it's costly.
Moral of the story, and I've learned my lesson. I went to 3 Vancouver Canuck home games in the playoffs, and they lost 2 of them. Just go see your team on the road in hockey. You'll be happier.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
this
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
That was Aaron Rodgers' thing. It's your quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
It's a luxury pick. We don't have the luxury. We're trying to win right now. I'm in a window right now, and you're going to say, no, we're going to plan this for the future. With a guy who had 4 years, 4 seasons ended by injury. 4. Like, Michael Penix is a walking injury. Like, what are you doing taking him in the top 10?
The Bostonian versus the Book.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. We get into this conversation every night. Joe Madden kicking with us. Every night, Joe, I'm on during these games late, and it comes down to when do you pull the goalie? And there's normally there's different circumstances, right? You know, like are you a defensive team? Are you an offensive team? Are you getting a lot of chances? Are you not getting a lot of chances? Are you on the power play? You're not. Like, there's a lot of different variables to go. It's not just clear cut. Oh, you do it at this time, right? But the Oilers did it too soon the other night. I think it was like 3:03 or something, and they were down by 1 only, and they got scored on pretty quickly. And I brought it up. I said the Canucks were down by 2, and they pulled the goalie with 3 minutes left, and they came back and won. But if I'm the Rangers and I'm not creating anything, it's time to pull the goalie, and they just did. So at the 2:36 mark, they just pulled the goalie. And, you know what I mean, Joe, like the circumstance, you're not getting any pressure. Like, you need a power play. Like, you need an extra man on the ice right now. Otherwise, you're not going to score. And we've seen the Rangers have been pretty good in these spots. You know, we'll see if the dreaded empty netter happens here, but I don't think the Rangers had a choice, Joe. I think they pulled the goalie at the right time with 2:36 left. It was time.
Yeah,
they had to.
Yeah, they absolutely did, because that clock is running so quick again, Gabe. We're already just at the 2-minute mark, and they need every opportunity because the Florida Panthers are able to keep pushing this out of their zone. So hopefully there's,
over.
Yeah, there it is.
It's
Game
over.
is done. Empty netter. Wow. That's not what I wanted to see.
Spreading the news. Dun, dun, dun. Wow. 3-1 Florida Panthers. There's a little Florida Panther fan showing off. Watch out, kid. You might get beat up in the hallway by another little, like, young Ranger fan. some Ranger fan just sent his kid on you. Hey, go shut that kid up. Yeah, there it is. Sam Bennett.
You knew Sam Bennett was going to come answer tonight. He's being phenomenal for the Florida Panthers in this series.
Bad. Yeah, but you know what? That's on him, bro. That's what I'm talking about, guys. The lack of fight for the puck. The puck was at center ice. It's on the boards. Zibanejad just gets beaten for it. Bennett takes it from him and fires it in the net. Like, you can't lose that battle with the net empty. Like, you kick the damn puck. Do whatever it is. Do not lose the battle. Just kick it up ice, get it. You know what I mean? You lose the battle at center ice. Like, this Ranger team, no fight tonight, Joe. Like, no physicality. I didn't see them hit anything. Like, really, they really got pushed around tonight. But I maintain what we talked about, Joe. I think they can win on the road in the next game because they were so effing bad tonight. Like, this is a pathetic way. Like, you guys look like, you know what I would tell them if I was Laviette? You guys look like an NBA team tonight. Soft, right? Like, seriously.
Perfect thing to tell
no,
them.
like, that was an embarrassing effort from the Rangers. I can't guarantee they're going to win the next game, Joe, but I promise you in the first period, they're going to come out flying in the next game.
Yeah, they absolutely will. One good thing, Igor Shesterkin did have a good game. He let in that one weaker goal, but the rest of those saves were absolutely phenomenal out there by him. So at least we had a good game out of Igor. It gives me hope for the Rangers in the next game out. 1 minute and 43 seconds left. They've got Igor back in net at least. So
no, they just pulled him. They just pulled him again. And you know what? I've got a ticket. I got a ticket with the Rangers plus 2.5 to close out a parlay. They pulled the goalie again. You talking about it, Joe? The over 4.5. Here it comes. It could happen. It was plus 165.
Well, especially if the Rangers show no fight. Why pull your goaltender if your players are showing no fight here? So I don't understand it. At least they're pushing right now in the Florida Panthers zone. But this is where bets come to die right now, Gabe. Like, this is the worst. Look at them here in the neutral zone. There's no drive. Terrible.
No. That's another thing, too, like when you're losing like this, in hockey at least, you want to hit someone on the way out. Like most of the time, someone will start a fight or something, like to say, all right, let's just change the narrative here a bit. Punch someone in the face, take someone out. Even if you take a stupid penalty now, who cares, right? The game's pretty much over. Just run at someone. But the Rangers don't even seem to care enough to do that, to be honest, Joe. Like it's just a very gutless effort. Gutless effort from the Blue Shirts tonight.
Yeah, it really is, and it's sad. It's
sad
they just
for the
scored.
Fans.
Oh, wow.
No. No.
Okay.
The 5.5 now. The under. No. Oh. They're going to keep the goalie out.
They are. 49 seconds left on the clock. 49.7.
Well, now my plus 2.5 looks good again, but no.
That's alive.
Oh.
I got the under 5.5 too. They're not going to score in the next 49.
Joe, if we lose this 5.5, I don't like the term bad beat, but I'm going to say, wow.
Definitely.
That would mean that if they score again, that's 4 goals in this period.
Wow.
Wow, that 4.5 at plus 165, huh? Wow, that hit.
Yeah. Did that ever? That hit nicely. The Rangers now have 27 shots on net, 37 for the Florida Panthers, and they are pushing again.
They just iced the puck, though. That'll help. That'll help them not pulling the goalie. And one thing I'll say too about another goal here: if you're the Panthers, you're not going to be as shot happy right now. There's a difference. Like when they pull the goalie and there's like 2 minutes left and stuff, players' eyes light up. There's a lot of time left in the game. They're not going to get crucified by their coach if they miss the net and they shoot. So now, when there's 42 seconds left, you do get crucified. They'd be like, dude, what the hell did you shoot? You know what I mean? Like if it backfires and it bounces off someone, you ice the puck and it leads to a goal, people would be like, dude, you didn't have to like try to score there. You could have just dumped it down the ice. So I'm sort of expecting the Panthers not to be reckless here. And here comes the goalie again. We got to hope, Joe, the Rangers don't cough up the effing puck, though. God.
Well, yeah. Right?
30-second mark. Puck behind the net.
Could be the longest 30 seconds ever.
All right, this is good. It just they dumped it down the ice. That's good.
Yeah.
As long as the Rangers don't turn it over mid-ice here, we should be all right. Then they got it into the zone. 10 seconds, 12 seconds. Here we go. Puck in the corner. Panthers are just trying to eat the puck and stand on the puck. Don't pop out for an empty net like greasy 200-footer, please. Here we go. Final score, 3-2. Damn, I got the pick right, but the team wrong. Thanks, Joe. Great stuff. Actually, we'll get your pick for tomorrow, and then we'll get you out of here. Hold on.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
SportsRage
This
late
sort of
night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
That was Aaron Rodgers' thing. To your quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
It's a luxury pick. We don't have the luxury. We're trying to win right now. I'm in a window right now, and you're going to say, no, we're going to plan this for the future. With a guy who had 4 years, 4 seasons ended by injury. 4. Like, Michael Penix is a walking injury. Like, what are you doing taking him in the top 10?
The Bostonian versus the Book.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Florida Panthers 3, New York Rangers 2. Got the score right, got the teams wrong, but we hit the under. Cold world, it is what it is. But we hit the Rangers plus 2.5, fortunately. And this NBA game has gone over all the numbers. It's gone over our in-game numbers. It's 121-96 right now with $1:15 left. So in other words, the Dallas Mavericks are advancing to the NBA Finals to take on the Boston Celtics. Joe, who do you? What's your early pick? Who do you think wins the championship? Dallas or Boston? Boston will be favorites. It's like, what is it right now? There are numbers up. Let me see what it is. Boston are minus 225. Dallas are plus 180 to win the series.
I've got to go with Boston. You look at how many last games they've played in the playoffs here. They've been able to get the sweep in the one series. I think they come in and they come ready to play. But I think Dallas probably takes that first game.
All right. And what about the other Dallas, the Dallas Stars and the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow? Who do you like tomorrow in the Big D?
Well, you said it. These road teams have been dominating. The lack of pressure on them on the road without their home fans there. I do think Edmonton has every opportunity, especially if Chris Tanev isn't in the lineup tomorrow for the Dallas Stars. We saw him leave in that last game, and the blue line is going to be weak without him out there, Gabe. So I'm looking at a couple of things. I think Connor McDavid, you can 4+ shots on goal. That's coming in at plus 142. And without Chris Tanev on the ice, I do think he gets that. I think Ottinger, though, has a bounce back game. And even if Edmonton's able to win, Jake Ottinger goes over his save shots. That's coming in at 26.5 at minus 130 to the over. But I think we can ladder that up to 28 plus save shots on goal. That was coming in at plus money. And then I'm going to look at Jamie Benn for another point. He's on a 5-game point streak, and it's coming in at minus 113. Wyatt Johnson has been so phenomenal as well. His point is juicy, though, at minus 130.
Joe Madden, great stuff as always, Joe. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. Enjoy the game tomorrow. And the Dallas Mavericks are about to enjoy their night. 123 to 100 right now. Make it 124 to 100. 35 seconds left. There's Joe Madden with us. So the Dallas Mavericks, and I just saw they just put up. Is Derek Lively really 16-16 from the field in this series? I think he is. We'll confirm it, but I believe I just read that. Late 3 for the T-Wolves. Listen, this was a nice season for the T-Wolves. The last game of the season's always painful. It always sucks, and you're always exposed and stuff like that. But if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves, it's cliche to say, but not all teams, when they lose, have a bright future. Like the Rangers are a good example. Like the Rangers aren't a very young team. You know what I'm saying? Like this team, they need to win, right? But you're the Minnesota Timberwolves. You've got Anthony Edwards. You're going in the right direction. You've got a future superstar on your team. People will want to play with him. And you got a pretty good supporting cast. You've never been this far in the playoffs. It's a learning experience. So, nothing to hang your heads about if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves. Hell of a run. Dallas Mavericks, 3rd NBA Finals appearance. They won the title in 2011. Pretty crazy. The Mavericks been around forever, it feels like, and only their 3rd NBA Finals appearance. So I just said the current number was minus 225. Minus 225. The Boston Celtics were favorites. Let's see if there's any changes. And we're going to have game 1 point spreads momentarily here. We're coming up against it, but on the other side, we will. As Luka is going to the NBA Finals, baby. Kyrie Irving is going back to Boston. Kristaps Porzingis, I don't know if he's playing. I imagine. I don't know what his status is. I mean, you've had a million days off since you last played. But either way, it's a great storyline. It'll be fun basketball. And I look forward to seeing the totals and the point spreads. They're going to be posted. A Philly Godfather will join us. I'm actually going to ask him. He's writing a book, and Philly Godfather was part of the whole Tim Donaghy crew, actually. So we'll get his take on the NBA Finals. But I think he's got a couple bombshells he wants to drop in his book that we'll get to. Tomorrow night, actually, we've got Lights Out Sean Merriman going to join us, which is cool. Sean joins us a lot, but Sean's going to join us tomorrow night in the last hour of the program. He wants to be on in San Diego and stuff because, of course, legendary Charger. I think we'll do a thing tomorrow. We'll take some questions for him. As he was talking with Bill fans, and I someone called him a Bills legend today. They said, bro, you're a legend, Bills legend. He said, I'm a Chippewa Street legend. I'm going to ask you about his time on Chippewa Street.